Hello, and welcome to CLEA'S World. I am Clea Necchiarico, and today I would like to share with you more of the information I received from the 25th dimension during my last BQH session. And before we move forward, I'd like to ask you to please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so, and do give this video a thumbs up and maybe even share it if you find it interesting. And also do leave me a comment below because I read all of them, I respond to all of them, and I love to see where you guys are with things, how you're doing. And also if you have any questions for the 25th, I'm happy to report the answer back to you when I get it. All right, so I'm going to start reading here from the transcript. When I say Lorraine, I'm referring to my hypnotist who's asking me the questions I prepared in advance of the session. Sometimes she does also certain questions, and which I love. It always just works out perfectly when we do these things together. And when I refer to me, I'm speaking about myself under hypnosis, so the answers are coming from the 25th. All right, Lorraine. What is the reason for the extreme climate differences on Earth, desert versus Arctic, for example? Is this natural, as in Gaia wants it this way, or is it something that we set up or the result of a reset? Me. So it is not something we set up from the beginning. In the beginning, this was very much like paradise, what we think of paradise. However, it has been the result of what we set up later in the resets. So what we do is we will cover certain areas, for example, certain things with sand. My voice to text wrote with sound. Okay, so we'll cover certain things with sand. We'll uncover other things. We will cover them with ice, since we were talking about the ice age, and they are referring to the previous video that explains what happened during the ice age. Okay, here we go. Since we're talking about the ice age, or we'll decide that, yeah, they don't need to be covered anymore. Now, Gaia is okay with these things, and we know she's okay because otherwise none of this would happen, because Gaia decides what happens with our body, which doesn't mean that everything we do is okay to do. Again, we go back to the same, oh goodness, today the transcript is not as good as usual. Okay. Which doesn't mean that everything we do is okay to do. Again, we go back to the same idea that we could really have avoided a lot of the stuff we have done here. But at the same time, Gaia is not a victim the way we like to think of her. She's a very powerful essence, and she also was having an experience. Now, could it have been a more pleasant experience? Could we have avoided doing a bunch of stuff that, we're thinking of oil drilling or whatnot? Could we have avoided doing a bunch of this stuff? Yes, of course. This is not pleasant. It's not pleasant for Gaia, but at the same time, Gaia can't take anything really. There's a lot of fear mongering about Gaia dying. But the truth is, were we not taking this down, Gaia would be perfectly able, if she wished, to transform and regenerate herself. We do not make a huge difference in terms of what we do from a 3D perspective. Essences will choose to come in or not. Even when we talk about, for example, species going extinct, these are essences deciding that they don't want to have that experience anymore. They've had that experience, now they want to have a different experience. And the essence is always sovereign. So there is a lot of things that we explain to ourselves in one way. They're really not quite that black and white. There is a lot that goes into it. And the essence always makes a decision. So in the case of Gaia, Gaia has made certain decisions to deal with certain things, the way she deals with certain things. And now, of course, she got tired too. We're moving on. So she's ready to move into a new dimension where she will do things differently, just like us. We will have different avatars. So she will have a different avatar. We've talked before. She might decide to have pink trees, and so why not? I think pink trees are fun. So we'll let her have her fun. And that's all it is. We all, as individual essences, we all decide to have different experiences. And some experiences are not as fun as others. I think we can all agree on that. And Gaia has lived through the same concept. This answer made me happy because I do worry about Gaia. I do feel very bad about the things we've done here. I am so glad that this is something that she's also learning like all of us have learned from the things we have allowed to happen to ourselves that we didn't have to tolerate or didn't have to choose. And so I'm glad this is all, happy ending all around in that sense. Lorraine, this resembles my understanding of Gaia and her power. On that note, will Gaia remain as a planetary body, or is her essence, just like our essence, existing in the 25th as she's choosing a form? Me. Yeah, she's just one of us, but she chooses to come in as a planet. That's right. And so she will remain as a planetary body. She's going to be our new Earth. But that's just because she likes hanging out with us. We are teammates and we choose who we want to hang out with. And that's all we're doing. She's part of our soul group. Some people like to think of soul groups. She's part of our soul group. That's all. And I did want to mention, even from a 3D perspective, we do know that Gaia is fine, because how many of us have had the thought that, if we stayed here much longer, we ended up going extinct as a human species, or even somehow cause all the animals to go extinct, we still know nature would take over. Gaia would be perfectly fine. I know that they've tried to do fear mongering around the fact, we could explode the entire planet. This would never happen. A lot of stuff that has been said so we could manifest it, and we were never interested in that, because again, Gaia is one of us. So these are all good. These are all good messages, and this is the reason they resonate with me, because even from a 3D perspective, I'm aware of a lot of things that confirm these messages. Lorraine, wonderful. And I, for one, am a big fan of pink trees. Me, laughing. They were laughing. Oh, we'll have all kinds of colors. She's going to have a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to a rainbow of color for trees. Lorraine, a lot of people who have been on the side of the dark are going back to the 25th to rest, while the rest of us are going on to better realities within the matrix. You also told us that the reptilians will have a very hard time integrating what they have done. Well, there is no judgment on what we do here, because we're all just playing. It seems that there is a cost to being on the side of the dark, a minimum in terms of how long it takes to recalibrate, integrate, understand what we have done, and be able to go to higher frequency realities. Is my interpretation correct? And do our teammates know this when they choose the dark? Me. Yeah, so yes, the interpretation is correct. The problem is that we didn't know. We never wanted for any of us, but also for our teammates, to suffer. This was never the plan. We just wanted to play. And yet they have suffered. Of course, we have all suffered, but they have suffered greatly, and they didn't know. They didn't know this was going to happen. They thought they were just playing. And therefore, it will take them a long time to heal and to recalibrate and to accept what they have done. And so, yes, there has been a very real cost. We do feel for our teammates on the side of the dark. There has been a real true cost and a lot of suffering because of this. And it will take them a long time to come back to balance. So while all of us are going to have to heal in many ways, they're going to have the hardest time of all. So your last question was, were they aware of this? Did we know this in advance? We did not know. We came in, quote unquote, naive. We didn't know what this game was going to be like. That was the whole point of being surprised, of being in a game. If you knew exactly what would happen in the game, you would have no fun. And so we didn't know. We just didn't know. In good faith, everybody chose a side. Both sides were equal. And it turned out that because of how the game has been played, especially in this dimension, but really throughout the multiverse, it turns out that it's a lot harder to be on the side of the dark in terms of recalibrating and going back to balance, which is what every essence wants to have, balance. So they can have fun, they can try different things, but also have fun. So yes, so no, we did not plan for this. There have been a lot of unwanted consequences in the matrix. Lorraine, that makes sense. Thank you. You told us there are a few other 3D planets who are enslaved by AI. Do they also have a money system, or is Earth the only place in the multiverse with money? There are other places in the multiverse that have money. And I'm getting that some of these 3D planets have money, at least one. But that's not necessarily as encompassing, or it wasn't the thing they're most enthralled with, like we were here, which is the reason why we became enslaved to it. So it's a much smaller scale. It's not the primary tool of the enslavement. They were much more focused on the AI, being enthralled by technology, basically. So it's a matter, you become enslaved by the things that you're most attracted to, that nobody wants to let go of, or very few people want to let go of. Because remember, even on our planet, we say we hate money, but our focus is still on money. Even when we say we hate it, this is when it enslaves us, because we've discussed this before, Lorraine. You've asked us in the past. So what gives reality to a reality? And it's our focus on it. Whether we like it or not, we're still focused on it. Our attention is still on this. And therefore, that's why it's very real. And that's why it enslaves us, because we're so obsessed with it. The other planets have simply chosen to do this via technology. They seem much more enthralled by technology, believe it or not, than we are. And therefore, this is the main reason for their enslavement. But there are a couple of other planets. I'm getting at least one that has money. But again, it's not as big of a hit, of a success, a runaway success as it has been here. People, let me explain why that is. People going, essences going to those planets, they want to experience the AI. Essences coming to this planet wanted to experience the money enslavement. This is why a lot of essences that wanted to experience the money enslavement are now going to those planets. That's why the idea of money on that planet or those planets is not as powerful, because people who wanted this money experience would not be going there necessarily. They would be coming here. Lorraine, great. Are these 3D planets going to be able to recalibrate and rebalance their polarity, especially now that the reptilians are going to start healing themselves? Or will their game boards have to be taken down too? Me. They will recalibrate. CLEA has already put out a call for this, and it has already been picked up. They will recalibrate. Nobody wants to have to take a planet down in the multiverse if we can avoid it. We are learning. We have already learned. We speak in the past, but truly everything is happening right now. We are learning. We learned, and therefore we have seen what the dangers of certain things are. We're not doing this anymore. This is why the reptilians and the dark team are healing themselves. We don't want to take this down anymore. This takedown has been extremely disappointed for all around. And I think I have shared this with you before in a previous video. I think this is what they're referring to, that basically I had a ceremony with 2 other light workers, and basically I intended, I didn't ask, I put it out there as an understanding that I expected to be heeded, that we don't want to do this again. And therefore, we expect the other 3D planets to recalibrate, and we expect the dark to also recalibrate and to heal. And it's not done as a command. However, we have to keep in mind, and I have learned this, and I hope that through repetition, you guys are also starting to believe this as well, because we truly doubt ourselves too much here, really, that our intention is all powerful. If I'm learning anything from the 25th, this is it. And so for that reason, I put out the request, basically, that the expectation that I expect to never have to do this again. And when I say I mean, you know, from the 25th perspective. All right, Lorraine. CLEA would like to know if they can salvage their game board. Why could we not recalibrate this game board? Me. Because they will be able to salvage their game board because of the work we've done here. So it was a toss-up. The game has gone all right faster here, and therefore we're fixing it. And because we're fixing it, both the light and the dark team have learned lots of lessons, and therefore these lessons are immediately, instantly incorporated everywhere. And therefore things are changing on these other planets as we speak, without even being finished in 3D, on a 3D level with a takedown here. They already are healing over there. So they are recalibrating, yes. They're doing the work, yes, themselves. but they're also being able to do the work because of the experience that's happening right here. Everybody's watching, including them. Even though they will not know, they might not know, they do not know. They pretend not to know on a 3D level, but they're watching us and they are learning. So that's why, and including the dark. And so that's why they will not need to take their game down. It's not that they're different from us and they were laughing. It's not that they're better than us. There is no such thing in the multiverse. Nobody's better than anybody else. It's just that we have now incorporated this experience and we are eager not to repeat it again. I was like, yes. All right, Lorraine, thank you. Do they have light workers and watchers on these other 3D worlds? Me. Yes, they do. The watchers are everywhere. Every planet has watchers, and absolutely every planet has light workers as well. They have light workers in the general sense of the word, meaning that there are always people working on the side of the light to rebalance things, people like you. All right, I'm gonna stop this video here. I wanna thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, please do give it a like, that really helps me. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care and bye-bye.